All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jimmy Fowler. I'm the Warning Coordination Meteorologist for the National Weather Service in Houston, Galveston. And this afternoon, I will be giving you an update on the newly named or distinguished potential tropical cyclone 1, and with the flooding rain threat that storm will be bringing to southeast Texas over the next couple of days. So, overview, we are still anticipating the potential for life-threatening flooding to continue through at least Thursday morning. An additional 4 to 7 inches of rainfall is possible, with again isolated amounts of over 10 inches. This morning, we have seen rainfall rates of 2 to 5 inch per hour rainfall rates, with some isolated areas around 6 to 7 inches per hour. So, we are going to be in this air mass through at least Thursday, so this potential will persist. Uh, Taking a look at tropical, the National Hurricane Center has started issuing advisories for potential tropical cyclone 1. It's currently located inland over South Texas and is expected to move northeastward along the Texas coast through tomorrow night. The forecast from the National Hurricane Center has it developing into Tropical Storm Arthur as early as Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning, and then making landfall along the Texas-Louisiana border Wednesday evening as a tropical storm. The potential impacts to Southeast Texas is the increased risk of heavy rainfall, hazardous marine conditions, some minor coastal flooding, and then some peak wind gusts between 30 to 40 miles per hour possible within the tropical storm watch locations, which I'll be showing shortly. What's changed since the briefing from yesterday? So for the flooding, for the flood watch, we have dropped Burleson, Brazos, Madison, and Houston counties from the flood watch. For tropical, the National Hurricane Center has started issuing the advisories for potential tropical cyclone 1. Uh, in our area, we have issued tropical storm watches for Chambers County, coastal Galveston County, coastal Brazoria County, Matagorda Islands, and then most of the coastal waters with the exception of Matagorda Bay. We do have a coastal flood warning in effect for Bolivar Peninsula, with a coastal flood advisory in effect for Matagorda Peninsula, Brazoria County beaches, and Galveston Island. Taking a look at the current radar, we had a band of pretty heavy rainfall developed this morning, extending from really from kind of Austin County through northwestern Harris County into Montgomery County, and then over into southern Polk County. We have issued numerous flash flood warnings this morning across that region due to the very high rainfall rates of 3 to 5 plus inches per hour. And we are going to continue to see periods of heavy rainfall through at least Thursday morning. Taking a look down to our south, we see another surge of showers and thunderstorms beginning to approach kind of the Matagorda Bay region, and all those storms will be kind of pushing along the Texas coast through the next several hours. Uh, More information on potential tropical cyclone 1. So again, it is currently located over in South Texas and is expected to emerge over into the Gulf later this afternoon and then strengthen into a tropical storm as early as 7 a.m. tomorrow. And then it will kind of skirt along the Texas coast and then make landfall most likely Wednesday evening, kind of along the Texas-Louisiana border. This storm, if it strengthens into a tropical storm, it will be named Tropical Storm Arthur. Again, the main impact from this potential tropical cyclone will be the continued heavy rainfall threat across southeast Texas. So, what is a potential tropical cyclone? So, a potential tropical cyclone is just an area that the National Hurricane Center is monitoring as expected to potentially bring tropical depression or tropical storm impacts. It's basically a way for us to initiate advisories for a tropical cyclone before it officially begins. Taking a look at the estimated time of arrival for tropical storm force winds. So we are looking at the earliest reasonable arrival for tropical storm force winds down along the Matagorda Bay area, looking as early as late this evening, but more likely going to occur overnight tonight. And then as we get into the day tomorrow, the earliest reasonable time for tropical storm force winds around the Galveston Bay area is going to be around daybreak Wednesday morning, but more likely towards 8 a.m. As you can see, we're only looking at about a 5 to 10% chance for tropical storm force winds down along the immediate coast, with those chances increasing to around 20 to 30 to potentially 30 to 40% over the Gulf waters. This map here just shows the potential for 40 mile per hour wind gusts across southeast Texas and into the Bay waters during the day tomorrow. As you can see, we're looking at around a 63% chance to have some of those 40 mile per hour wind gusts over uh, the near shore waters, and then those chances really diminish as you get further inland, with about a 20% chance for the city of Houston and the Woodlands, and dropping even further as you go north. Taking a look at peak storm surge values for this potential tropical cyclone one, we are looking at around 1 to 3 feet for across the Texas coast up until the Louisiana border. Again, we are just going to be really anticipating minor flooding impacts down along low-lying areas along the coast. This is a map of the current tropical storm watch that's in effect for our coastal waters and for some coastal areas in southeast Texas. Again, that tropical storm force watch is the tropical storm watch is in effect for Chambers County, coastal Brazoria, coastal Galveston, as well as Galveston Bay and the marine waters, with the exception of Matagorda Bay. Uh, Tropical storm watch means tropical storm conditions are possible within that watch area. Again, we are looking at peak wind gusts at around 30 to 40 miles per hour over land. And then as we get into the water, we're looking at sustained winds around 25 to 35 knots with gusts to 35 to 45. Uh, those strong winds are going to help build seas to 7 to 10 feet by Wednesday. Want to make sure that if you're within this watch area, to secure any loose outdoor items, and those higher wind gusts may make it more difficult for driving high profile vehicles. The coastal flood advisory is in effect for Galveston Island, Brazoria County beaches, and Matagorda Peninsula. We're really going to be monitoring for the high tide cycle on Wednesday. That's going to be kind of Wednesday morning into Wednesday afternoon. High tide, we're anticipating around 1 to 2 feet above normal. The most likely impacts are going to be some beach erosion as well as some minor coastal inundation possible. There is also going to be the continued risk for rip currents along the area beaches. We do have a coastal flood warning for Bolivar Peninsula. This is going to be a little bit closer to where the potential landfall would be on Wednesday, so it might have a little bit stronger of be able to get a little bit stronger before this area. High tides here, we're looking around 2 feet above normal. But again, we're still just looking at main impacts of beach erosion and some minor coastal inundation possible. The flood watch continues for most of southeast Texas, with the exception of Houston County, Madison County, Brazos County, and Burleson County. We are still anticipating very heavy rainfall through Thursday morning, especially along the coast. Life-threatening flooding is possible with those rainfall rates of 2 to 5 inches per hour or more. We continue to have a moderate risk, a level 3 of 4 for excessive rainfall for most areas along and south of I-10, including the Houston Metro, through tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we will be starting to see that potential heavy rainfall begin to move over to the east, but we're still could potentially see some locally heavy rainfall Thursday morning. This is the 90th percentile, so the most likely worst case scenario for additional rainfall through Friday morning. So we're looking at potential for up to an additional 3 to 6 inches across the coastal portions of the region. However, I would not doubt to see some very isolated amounts again approaching that 10 plus inches, especially within that yellow circle area. This map here shows the rainfall probabilities across southeast Texas through Thursday morning. So we're looking at almost near certainty for an additional at least 1 inch of rainfall across the region, with around a 30 to 50% chance for additional 3 inches of rain for areas along and south of I-10. And then we still have about a 10 to 20% chance to have an additional 5 inches of rainfall through Thursday morning down along the immediate coast. As potential tropical cyclone one kind of begins to emerge and skirt along the Texas coast, we could potentially see some isolated strong to severe thunderstorms kind of pass along the immediate coast, which would bring potential for stronger wind gusts. And we can't outrule an isolated tornado, but again, this threat is going to be mostly confined to the immediate coast. Taking a bit a look at the hazardous marine conditions, so the winds will be strengthening late tonight into early Wednesday morning, then peaking in strength Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. The seas will be peaking around 9 to 10 feet Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then will be slow to recover through Friday. This is the expected tidal levels for Galveston Day entrance through the next couple of days. Again, the time of concern that we are most looking at is going to be the high tide cycle on Wednesday, where we could potentially see some minor coastal flooding along low-lying areas along the area coast. So again, we are really monitoring the potential for life-threatening flooding through at least Thursday. An additional 4 to 7 inches are possible, but we could see isolated amounts of over 10 inches, mainly over the southeast half of the area. Rainfall rates of 2 to 5 inches per hour will be possible, and there is an increased danger to lives and property due to this flash flooding. The National Hurricane Center has started advisories on potential tropical cyclone 1, which is forecast to track along the upper Texas coast through Wednesday. Minor coastal flooding would be possible along area beaches during high tide on Wednesday. We're looking at potential for some wind gusts around 30 to 40 miles per hour along the immediate coast and over the marine waters, with seas building to that 7 to 10 feet across the coastal waters. I do also want to give a heads up. We are anticipating the return of hot and humid weather to emerge after potential tropical cyclone 1 moves away from the area. So we're looking at heat indices rising to 105 to 110 beginning as early as Thursday, and that will persist through the weekend. We will be sending an additional email update later this evening, possibly around 11 p.m., and then we'll be scheduling another webinar for tomorrow afternoon. However, if anything changes, we will initiate an additional webinar before then.